Y'all, I'm on cloud nine. I just got back from Uganda, the country that's in Africa. I went. Y'all, welcome to episode. Oh Lord, what episode am I on? Episode 2? Episode 3? Shoot, I don't know. Whatever it is. It's probably episode 2. Y'all, I just wanted to just say hello. It's been a while. But I want to tell you about my trip in Uganda. When I tell you this was the most life-changing experience, I think that's kind of an understatement. If you ever have a chance to go on a mission trip, I definitely encourage you guys because it will change your life. Now, I'm a firm believer of Christ. I love Christ. He lives in me. I live in him. I'm not perfect, but God is perfect. So I'm able to thrive in him. Thank God for that. So the Lord has given me and my wife an opportunity to go to Guatemala last year. And that mission trip kind of like bit something in me. Like there was a bug of missions that really just ignited in me. A fire decided to burn rather, and to the point that I wanted to quit my job and go on full-time mission. Now I know I wasn't going to do that because that's, you got to prepare for those types of things, and that's not what the Lord wants for me personally. But if I was single, I definitely probably would have did that, but because I have responsibility, I got to make the right choices. But anyway. So I just been, going on different mission trips when the opportunity presented itself. Back in November, I went on another mission trip in the States. We went to Las Vegas, did street missions there, and that was amazing. And now I was afforded the opportunity to go to Uganda, the country, for a mission trip there. And for the first time in, I would say, over 2 years, I stood at the sacred desk and I had a moment. I had an opportunity to preach. Y'all, it's been a while since I've, preached in front of a congregation. So I was nervous, but I'm thankful that the Lord allowed me to step in that position. God, he is so good. I felt the presence there. And so, excuse me, I have a little cold because, I got the weather kind of messed me up. But I want to definitely thank, Pastor Jamal and Prophetess Taiwan of Abudah Ministries for gracing my wife and I with the opportunity to go to Uganda. They have been my greatest supporters since the beginning of my salvation. When I first got saved, they were there. Up until this point, they still remain, and now they've become more of mentors to me. And so they went to not Guatemala. I was about to say Guatemala. They went to Uganda last year with a group, but this year, the leaders of that group gave it to them and said, "You lead the next trip." And I was like, "Wow, that's amazing." So when they asked us to go, of course, I couldn't do anything but say yes. I just said absolutely. Yes. The answer is yes. And so I had an opportunity to preach and, pray for people. And I had an opportunity to become a photographer. It's something that I always wanted to do. And so I was practicing there and, I fell in love with that art as well, the creativity of that. And just the Lord really blessed me beyond measure. I mean, I am on a cloud 9, probably cloud 10, because here I am with the opportunity to, do more, mission opportunities, and I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail God. I don't want to fail my family. I want to be in his will. And so the Uganda trip was extremely amazing. I think a few things that I've noticed. Number one, the first thing is they are just like us. I went to Guatemala. I keep saying Guatemala. I'll get to that in a second as to why I keep saying Guatemala. But I went to Uganda thinking that it's going to be a different culture, which it is. But at the end of the day, the people of Uganda are just like us. Matter of fact, they're a part of my ancestry. I come from Uganda. I know exactly where I come from. I come from Nigeria. I did a 23andMe before, and so I know where my ancestry comes from. So, looking at these people, I'm like, wow, they look like us. They are from my lineage, my heritage. The African Americans that are in the United States come from this continent, many different places of this continent. And I'm just like, wow, I can not imagine, but I literally saw individuals that looked just like me. I saw individuals that looked like people that I knew in the United States. I was baffled at how beautiful they are and how awesome and loving and friendly and kind and generous and hopeful and optimistic they are as people. They're just like us. And so with that mindset, even going to Guatemala last year, going to Las Vegas, you go all over the world, people are going to be people. We are a human race. We are a human community. That is what brings us together. That is what unites us. And these people from Uganda, they're just people trying to make it. They're people that love God. They're people that, might not know God. I mean, they're just like any other part of the world, except they speak a different language. That was the first revelation. Number 2, they church just like me. I mean, they love God. They even church harder than me. It was one experience that I loved that I will forever remember is we did a crusade right outside. After a 3-day marriage conference, we did a crusade outside where we ministered the gospel to people in the streets, and they had a huge audio equipment, so they can hear us, from miles and miles away. And one of my leaders, he preached, but I also had a moment to testify, and the Lord allowed me to share my own testimony on what God has done for me. But at the end of the night, like after the service was over, everybody went up to the altar and they danced before the Lord. I felt like I was at home. I felt like I was at the Ramp Church International, and I felt like we were just all together, just blessing the Lord. It was the beautiful sight to see. When I say I was enamored with the culture, it was such a liberating experience to be in that space. So that was one of the life-changing experiences within itself, just seeing how they danced before the Lord, danced in the presence of God, and they were so unapologetic. They were happy. Mind you, we were there since 8 a.m. Before then, they've been there before then, listening at workshops and all that stuff. And at the end of the night, they're still praising God. My wife and the missionaries that we were with, we're walking home. It's probably about maybe a mile away, and we can still hear the music. Maybe half a mile. We can still hear the music. And I mean, they're just dancing and singing and just giving God all of it. And I'm just like, wow, they're not going to let up. And so I was inspired by that alone, just to see and hear them show a relentless spirit to worshiping God. Like they did not want to give up. And then when it was time to go, they were like, nope, let's go again. So that was amazing. The third thing is just meeting so many people, making connections. I'm like, wow, I have friends in Uganda now. I have family. And you know how they all wanted us to come back. And I actually do want to go back. I'm hoping to go back in October with another group that's planning to go. And I hope to be a part of that journey. And, just keep me in prayer for that. So I say all of that to say, God is so good. I'm going back to Guatemala. My wife and I are going to Guatemala part 2 for our second mission trip in Guatemala, our third mission trip overall. And we still need some help. So I thank you all for your support thus far for Uganda, for Las Vegas, for Guatemala, and for future endeavors. But we definitely need your support. So if you're listening to this podcast, number one, I want to thank you. Number 2, I want to direct you to my website at www.adamleehenderson.com, where you can donate. You can also donate through Cash App at $Adam and Gail, or you can do it through Venmo at $Adam and Gail. Okay. Please, if you guys have an opportunity, if you have a moment, if it's laid on your heart, please sow a seed, and we'll be so grateful. And definitely, we will not go unnoticed. I promise you. So I kept saying Guatemala earlier because we are going back to Guatemala in July 1st through the 8th, and I'm super excited about what God is going to do with and through us. This is an exciting opportunity. I just love working for the Lord. I love being able to travel, not for vacation, but to preach the gospel. I've said before that, I didn't say it here, but I did say it as I testified in Uganda. Before I preached, I noticed 2 things. Number 1, I'm fulfilling the dream of my mom. My mom passed away in 2019. That's something that we can talk about later on in another podcast. But my mom passed away, and through that experience, it made me just want to fulfill whatever it is that God has for me. And one dream that she had was to go to Africa. And so the fact that I reached Africa, I made it to Africa, a place that she always wanted to be, always wanted to go. I'm so grateful. When my father, he posted under one of my pictures and made a comment and said, "I believe that your mom is with you." And I said, I really believe that. I really believe her spirit was with me and enjoying Uganda just like me. I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful. And so then lastly, I want to definitely just give God the honor, because I'm so thankful that he still saw fit to fulfill a promise that he made to me. I literally fulfilled prophecy. It was prophesied to me years ago as I was a child, as I was a young teenager, maybe a preteen. I remember going to the Rock Church, and a prophet spoke over me and said, "You're going to preach in many nations. You're going to travel all over the world." And I said, "You know what? I'm going to hold you to that." And lo and behold, I looked up one day and realized as I was preaching that the Lord brought to my remembrance what he said to me years ago. So I can't wait for more opportunities to preach the gospel and to proclaim that Jesus Christ is the Lord and Lord of all. So that's it for today's episode. I wanted you to hear my heart and hear the experience of Uganda. My wife and I, we also have a podcast, and I wanted you to hear that as well. So if you ever have an opportunity, go to Happily Henderson's on any podcasting platform and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast if you don't mind, if you haven't already. I love y'all for listening. And of course, I'm almost at the 15-minute mark. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Next time, I will try to remember what that episode is. I love y'all. Peace.